So you guys may remember a while ago I was constantly complaining about the weather, saying it was too hot. Now, at the moment, I'm going to say the exact opposite and say it's been too fucking cold. Like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when I've been in work, I got to work at like probably 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and it was just pissing it down, extremely windy and cold. So, yeah, that's a really good start to your morning, especially when you're going into a warehouse, which is absolutely freezing in general, and then you go in and it's just everything's wet, you get soaked, and that makes you more cold. Yeah, it's a brilliant fucking experience, not gonna lie. There is a positive about all this cold, wet weather. It means spooky season is upon us. Like, literally, I think a week on Sunday is the 1st of October, which is exciting times, and obviously, I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the video a little bit. But yeah, basically, spooky season, and I cannot remember a single time in my living memory that on Halloween it hasn't fucking pissed it down, or like a hurricane rolled through the fucking area and just taken out everyone. Like, literally, as a kid, like, you'd wear your Halloween costume and everything, and then you'd put your raincoat over it and have thermals underneath because it would be freezing, cold, and windy, as well as raining, which is always basically just the weather in this country, to be honest with you. But as I said that, it just started to fucking piss it down. That's brilliant. I have to walk the dog in a minute, so that's gonna be fun. But anyway, welcome to the video, everyone, and welcome back to another life story. And this is gonna be the first one and last one that you're gonna see for a while, because obviously something's happening next month, which I normally do, and it's gonna be a bit more interesting this year, so make sure you guys stick around. And I feel like this is a really interesting story because every single person I've told this story to, and then said, like, I tell stories on YouTube as well, they said, oh, you should definitely tell this story because I think it's fucking hilarious. But we're gonna get straight into the story today. Grab your popcorn, get yourself a nice drink or whatever, and let's hear the story. So this story takes place back in February of 2017, and our school was gearing up for what we had every single like year or so. We had an open day, which was basically like all the parents come around to have a nosy around the school and just basically have a look where they might be sending their kids when they start in year 7. And it's also an opportunity as well for like the kids to go and have a look around the school, learn their way around a bit, and maybe make some friends, you know, that sort of thing. From what I remember, it was a Monday morning in our form group where Mr. Smith, our form tutor, asked for volunteers for the upcoming open evening. So essentially the teachers wanted help, you know, like preparing all the class and that, so they asked all the students, like, from that GCSE group to, you know, go and help a little bit. Like, obviously I was too cool for it. I didn't want to stay in school longer than I could. I wanted to go home and play Xbox, so obviously I didn't volunteer. But one of my good friends, as you know, Calvin, did volunteer, and another lad that we're going to introduce into this story. We're going to call him Cameron. So our form building was actually an IT room, so we were just like pissing about on the computers, like photoshopping the principal's head onto like a turd or something, or maybe that slug thing from Monsters Inc. Yeah, we never fucking did out in form class. We literally just pissed about on the computers, and it was the best fucking thing ever. But yeah, Calvin and Cameron both volunteered to help in the art department because they're doing GCSE art, which basically just entails them staying after school on Friday to kind of like help set up until the open evening, which started at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, I believe. But one quick thing to mention, I'm not really friends with Cameron. Like, yeah, we get on and still talk occasionally to this day, but I've not really seen him in quite some time. I probably saw him like 4 years ago or something mad like that. But just to clarify, I am not really friends with this guy and we're not that close, but I would say we are friendly acquaintances. Let's just say that for now. So after all the subjects have kind of like taken all their volunteers, they kind of just like fuck off and we all forget about it until the Friday, and nothing really happened about it that entire week. So fast forward to the Friday, and obviously 3:05 comes around, which is the time our school finished. I am absolutely fucking bolting for the door, and when I get out of the building, I do just manage to catch Calvin outside and just say like, look, I'll see you later. I'm gonna come up because my mum wanted to show my brother around and I'm just wanting to come and have a nosy basically and chill out with you two. So I'll come up at about 7:30. How does that sound? And they're like, yeah, that sounds. So I walked home at this point. I never really got a lift until much later in high school, like year 10, 11. And that just sounds so fucking strange to me because obviously I walk to uni every single day, or I did until I moved into my new house. But like walking to school was about 2 miles miles, maybe 2.5 miles, so it was a pretty fair trek, but I used to do it with one of my friends, so it wasn't too bad. And I also used to do it with Calvin as well most days, so it wasn't really that bad when I was with people. But today I was walking home by myself and I pretty much like sprinted home. I was so eager to get home. I just wanted to play some Xbox really and just chill out until I had to go up to the open evening. I think I would have probably been, knowing the time frame of like 2017, COD World War II wouldn't have been out yet, so I'd have probably been playing Battlefield 1 or Modern Warfare Remastered. Like, that's pretty much all I played. And back then I used to have so much more time for gaming than I do now. I used to just absolutely sweat off these games like non-stop, just play them all the time, and I don't know how I did it. Like, now I can play games for like 2-3 hours and I feel like I've, done some like massive play session. Instead, back in the day I used to play for like 12 hours straight some days, which isn't pretty good, but that's how it was back in the day. So a few hours go by, obviously, of me playing on my Xbox, and my ma says that it's time to go back up to the school and basically just have a look around with my brother because he's starting in that September, and my mum sort of wanted to, teach him the way around. So right on cue, I arrive exactly at the time I specified to Calvin, and my mum, my brother and me all start kind of like slowly moving through the departments, and basically I just start getting really bored when we enter the canteen, and I basically just go to my mum like, look, I'm gonna go have a wander around by myself, I'm gonna go find Calvin in the art department and just chill with them. And she says, yeah, that's fine. So I head off into the night. So I say into the night because our art department was actually kind of like detached from the rest of the school, so you had to go outside from like the main building. So the canteen, you go straight through reception, down the corridor and outside essentially, and then you're being kind of like a ginnel between the two buildings, and you just go down there and you enter the art block through that way. But yeah, as you can guess, it was fucking really cold, and I was still in my school uniform, which wasn't the warmest thing on the planet, so I just kind of like legged it between the buildings and got into the art department pretty quick. So I meet up with Calvin and Cameron in the art room, who are pretty much just sat there doing nothing. There's not too much to do. They've already set up and they just need to like show people a few things, and there's only like maybe 4 parents or something in that room, so they're just kind of like chilling out. And there's a few other like GCSE helpers, I guess you could call them, and yeah, they kind of get to like sit back when no one's talking to them and just basically piss about, have a snack or just chat really. Now I think I should talk about the art teacher, Mr. Stewart. So Mr. Stewart, which is obviously not his real name, was an absolute fucking arse. I absolutely hated this guy, but for some reason I used to get away with so much shit in his lessons. Like, we hated each other, but he never told on me ever. Like, I did so much shit, especially on this open evening, that he knew about, and he just did not say anything to anyone. So in that regard, I have to say he's an absolute fucking G for that. But we never really got on, never saw eye to eye, because I fucking hated art in high school, and I used to just like basically piss him off in lesson all the time. But we kind of started to get on a little bit, I guess, after this night, because I wasn't in his class anymore and I just didn't take the piss out of him as much. So Mr. Stewart's kind of just sat in the back of this classroom. So if you got like the main art studio, there's like a detachment or an enclave or whatever you want to call it of the room, which is essentially just the art classroom where everyone has desks and everything, and we're sat in there. So there's me, Calvin, Cameron and Mr. Stewart all just kind of like chilling in there. Mr. Stewart just catching up on a few little bits of marking when all the parents were going through, and then when the parents would come up and talk to him, he'd like chat to him and tell him about the course and everything. And eventually at probably about 8:30 the room really quietens down, and Mr. Stewart says, are you lads alright on your own for a bit, because I'm gonna go get a coffee and a biscuit in the staff room. So we go like, yep, that's fine, and he heads off into the night, make it sound all dramatic and shit. But after about 10 minutes of us just sat there in the classroom, but yeah, we were basically just chatting a load of shite, and within that time frame Mr. Stewart had still not returned, and he was probably going to be quite a bit longer, because my guess, he would just start talking to someone in like the staff room, or maybe talking to parents in the canteen, who fucking knows. But basically we saw that as our time to strike. So Cameron stands up and says to us, oh lads, I need some fresh air, you guys want to come with? We'll just go stand on the field for a bit. And we all go, yeah, why not, fucking boring in here, we can't be arsed doing any of this shit anymore, so we're just gonna go up onto the field. We all know why he wanted to go onto the field, we knew he wanted to go and have a fag, but we just said we'll come with him because we're that fucking bored. So we begin to walk out of the classroom when we are stopped by literally your most stereotypical snitch. That kind of girl in films that just grasses on people for no good reason. Basically just think of Patty Farrell from, Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. Yeah, basically just think of her as equally annoying and as much of a grass. That's literally what this girl was. And she's standing between us and the door. She starts asking us a load of questions, which we just basically give stupid answers. Like, she asked what I was doing in the back of the class when it was only Mr. Stewart's helpers who were allowed back there, and threatened to report me to him, which was funny because obviously when I was in there, he was literally sat in the room, so he knew I was there. He wasn't going to do shit. Like, Mr. Stewart had seen me, a non-art student, not helping, not doing anything, just sat with Calvin and Cameron, and he didn't fucking say anything, even though he absolutely despised me. So after basically just trolling the shit out of this girl for probably about 5 minutes, Cameron just steps in and says, "Relax, I'm just going out for a fag, be back in like 10 minutes. And can you fucking guess what her reaction to that was? It wasn't like, "Oh, okay, I'll see you in a bit." It was a full-on fucking lecture about how bad smoking is for your health, and also how illegal it is to be smoking underage on school grounds. To which we basically just ignored her, and as far as we know, she didn't grass on us, which is insane. Like, we managed to just like slip past and start heading out onto the field, but she never told Mr. Stewart that we fucked off. I have no idea why. It's the only time she's never grassed on me. Like, I knew this girl in primary school as well, and she used to just fucking grass all the time. And she still did it in high school. I don't know if she's still doing it now, but... So yeah, that was kind of a strange anomaly. But obviously, we grab our coats and we go out onto the football pitches on the field. So essentially, the way our top field at school was laid out is you just have this massive open field, but to the side of it, there was like a pond with a load of trees, and then behind it, there was loads of trees, which made up like this massive forest. And in this forest, there was this like massive mansion, so the only people that could see us are the people that lived in this mansion. So as Cameron is lighting up his fag, we sit down on the wet grass with just our coats underneath us to, you know, prevent us from getting our asses wet. So we're just chilling there, you know, looking up at the stars, when Cameron takes a drag from his cigarette, and as he exhales it, he says, "You know what, we could make tonight a lot more interesting," and takes his bag off his back, carefully placing it onto the grass. And we obviously look at him wondering what the fuck's going on, and then he, you know, opens it up to reveal a bottle of absolute vodka. And at this time, I fucking love vodka. It was one of the first times I probably got drunk this. It's not the first, which I don't know if I've actually told that story on the channel before. I know I definitely told it on Cosmic CTF, but I have not, I don't think, told it on, you know, this channel. So that could be a potentially interesting story. But this, it was probably like a month after I'd first got drunk. Like, I was definitely 14 the first time I drank. This may have been like a few months later or something like that. But obviously, we crack open the bottle of vodka, and somehow, I have no idea still to this day how I used to do this. I used to drink vodka straight, which is absolute fucking madman behavior, but I used to just drink vodka straight like it was water at one point in my life. When I was like 15, 16, 14 as well, I guess. I used to just drink straight vodka all the fucking time, and somehow I have not developed fucking alcohol poisoning. Each of us split about a third of the bottle, and obviously, after a third of a bottle of vodka at age 14, you're gonna start feeling a little bit fucking drunk. So we're there, you know, just pissing about, being loud, and we all start booting a football at each other, which had been left from that day's PE class. So we do that for about 20 minutes. I score some absolute fucking worldie. I say score, I mean just smack Cameron in the fucking face with it, but... You know, I consider that one of the greatest penalty kicks ever taken, but after about 20 minutes, we decide to go on a walk and have basically like a nosy round the school, because we're a bit drunk, and we're saying, you know what, school is probably so different at night because we're 14 and morons. So we end up spending like probably 10-15 minutes just walking around the school going like, "Oh my god, that's Miss fucking Bertha's fucking room up there," you know, just making up random names here, but we're like, "Yeah, that's Miss Bertha's room, that's Miss gets pregnant every fucking 6 months," which is, I don't even know how that's possible now that I say it, but eventually we do head back to the art block because we're like, okay, we've probably been gone long enough. And as we get back, guess who's there waiting for us? Yep, that's little Miss Stick Up Her Arse waiting, and just started shouting us for being late, saying like, "What example are you setting to the students? What example is setting to the new year 7s? What about the parents?" I just turned around to her after so long of just hearing this incessant nonsense and just go, "Shut the fuck up, you stupid stupid bitch. And after that, she did shut up for a little while, until the next week, and then she started grassing on us again, which was just fucking brilliant. But after I tell her to shut up, after about maybe 20 minutes of us just sat in the back of the room pissing about, Mr. Stewart finally rocks up. He walks back into the art room with a brew in his hand, sits down at his desk, looks at his papers, you know, marks for a little bit, and then he looks up at us all giggling and fucking taking the piss out of each other, and he says, "You lot alright? You just don't seem alright. You all okay?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, everything's fine." "Yeah, we're fine, sir. Yeah, we're fine." In like those exact words, like stuttering and everything. It was fucking hilarious. But for some reason, like, I don't know how the fuck he didn't see this. Like, he just accepted it, or so I thought at the time. Apparently, he knew we were fucking drinking that night. I don't know how, but he's got some like extra sensory powers, and he just said to me at prom, like, "I know what you were fucking doing on that opening evening." Like, this is literally 2 years later. This guy remembered us being fucking drunk. He was like, "I know you were drunk, but I don't really give a shit because I thought it was fucking hilarious what you were doing." So, and after that prom, me and fucking Mr. Stewart were fucking best mates, so that were brilliant. But all I can say is this guy was an absolute fucking G for just not being a cunt and grassing on us, even though he hated me. Like, what an absolute fucking legend. Like, he knew, obviously, at the time that we were fucking pissed, and he just didn't say anything to anyone. He just kind of, like, let it slide, let us sit in the back of the room and didn't really talk to anyone until about 15 minutes later or something like that, when my mum came in with my brother, and we are, like, obviously shitting it, because obviously my mum knows Calvin as well, and knows his parents, so that's gonna be fucking fun. We're there, like, trying to hide being drunk. Fucking Cameron disappears to the toilets, Calvin follows him, leaving me just nosying around, so I'm there like, "You're right, mum, you know, how you doing?" Which, after a brief conversation with my mother, I'm like, right, she has to know I'm drunk here, I'm absolutely fucking done for. But to my surprise, she had no fucking idea, and I apparently did a really good job of passing for being sober, and apparently I can do that now, so that's pretty good. Like, if you're trying to get into a club and you're a bit fucking drunk, I can act completely fucking sober. It's brilliant. So after an hour or so, since I was only lightly drunk, I do start to sober up a little bit, and the open evening is over. But the work for Calvin and Cameron was not done, and they decide to stay an extra half an hour just to pack some things up, and I say to my mum, who's just heading home, like, "Yeah, I'll catch you later. I'm gonna get a lift back with Calvin's parents." So I stayed and helped them clean up a little bit and just kind of like pissed about for a little bit after that. And after, you know, everything was locked up, we left, got in Calvin's parents' car and started to drive home, which, unlike my parents, knew that we were fucking drunk. I have no idea, but they just thought that was the funniest shit ever. And to be fair, like, Calvin's dad, we used to like play poker with him, obviously not with real money, but we used to sit there drinking vodka oranges, which I still like. I absolutely hate vodka now, but I still love myself a good vodka orange, because you can't really go wrong with alcoholic orange juice. But yeah, they just thought this was the funniest shit ever that we got drunk in school, and yeah, we basically became legends in their eyes, which was fucking hilarious. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the story here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I definitely enjoyed kind of going on a trip down memory lane, just reliving this shit, because it was fucking hilarious at the time as well. But yeah, just before we end out the video, I do want to quickly talk about Halloween real quick. If you don't know, I am going to be announcing what game I'm playing in literally a week after you guys are seeing this video on the Sunday, so make sure you guys stay tuned. But essentially, if you don't know what I'm doing, all normal uploads are going to be suspended on this channel. So like any current Let's Plays like Skyrim or Starfield or whatever, I'm not going to be doing those throughout the October/spooky season, with the exception of Minecraft Xbox, which you should be seeing the return on Monday, which is obviously not going to be a seasonal episode, but the Monday after will definitely be a seasonal episode, so make sure you guys, you know, keep your calendars clear for that. And what I'm going to be doing is playing 2 spooky games over the course of the Halloween season, so make sure you guys, you know, kind of like keep on the lookout for that, because on Sunday, when the announcement video goes up, not this Sunday, the Sunday after, when that announcement video goes up, I'm going to be announcing the first game and the second game, which I believe will be the first episode of which will be uploaded on the first Friday of October. Yeah, that's going to be a complete fucking surprise, so make sure you guys stay tuned and, you know, keep an eye out. But anyway, that's all I wanted to quickly, you know, just mention to you guys, you know, quick little PSA, and yeah, that's going to be it for today's video here. If you did enjoy, please do the like and subscribe. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss a single video, or alternatively, you could join the Discord server as a link down below. But anyway, this has been QuinntonTV, and I'll see you all in the next one.